Hello everyone, I hope everybody is doing well. This is Wolf. Today we'll be taking a look at Tiny Bunny, especially, let's say, Chapter 1, Prologue. So we're going to be taking a look at Tiny Bunny Prologue, and this game talks about a family that live in Russia, if I'm not wrong, and near them there is a forest that may or may not have spooky creatures. Wow. So let's see what this game is all about. It's a visual novel, so there'll be a lot of reading, and I hope you all get comfy and enjoy your stay here with me. So come on, let's take a look at this game. And let's go, new game. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song, weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thick gazed back with its hollow eyes, hustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest, to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12, after all. Still. Oh man. There's a little fox there. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Hide. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line and couldn't understand, after reading it 3 times anyway. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Coastal Odyssey. I loved that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I I felt around for the spoon. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Huh, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? No. She's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was my mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. I think this is where they live. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you are a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you are a bad apple, it will grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with grave faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olia was done with her cookies and was looking at my chair like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of the frost formed a picture on the glass. Olia, look, it's a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle, not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose and here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. There it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosted patterns, similar to stretched out needle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom always asked, jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stinks. Stings. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olia always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all of this? Through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply. For the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister would be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You are a grown man, a father of two, and still... Karina, please, stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Olia sprang up from the chair and placed her hand on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Babay in your closet, and now this owl? From what I tested, when a word like this come out with an underline, you can check here in the glossary. Oh my god, you can check for the words for what they mean. So let's check it out. Babay and is Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. Okay. So let's continue. But I saw it. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully your girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's too little. Olia pounded her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strategic look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. From this picture, you can see that the art is pretty good. It's already good, but this one is pretty nice. She would toss, turn, or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles she had with the move and our parents. Oh my god, what is that? Oh, it's moving. Oh, nice. And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of myself. Think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and end up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the mind of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creature were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. I'm hearing some noises. Yes, there was it again. Their cruel, their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawing hangings of the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oila begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, Anton is not around. Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Open. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their background. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but those were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Oh God. Oh, that was good. Oh. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Man, oh man. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints, until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around like looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right. They circled around the house. Now my guests should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. Oh my God. I remember the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head, pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she would be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me through the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks in the house, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from the devil's lair. The feast and always leave alone. God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. Then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placed my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned half away, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw creaked from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. Oh man. Oh man. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you will see. Oh God. The door was wide open. The darkness reached inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tony. Tony. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? Oh man. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. So am I. Oh, Leah, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does this Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eye? Oh my god. Oh no. Please. What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The dark. Oh man, I'm feeling something. The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chant. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Oh god. Oh, look, it's... Whoa, looks good. Man, my... What? Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. That was good. I like that. I did like it. It's pretty nice. Oh, man. That was pretty good. You know, when it was the part that he was looking at the window outside his house and looking to the creatures dancing. That again, it was pretty awesome. I'm liking it. What I'm playing right now, and oh man, let's see what is going to happen. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her all in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices come from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. Behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. Toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. It's saying that's mom is talking right now, but I don't think it's her. I don't think it's her voice. I don't know. I could be wrong. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? For some reason, I don't think it's mom talking right now. The policeman had out a thought. Yes, so I don't think it was mom. Maybe on my mind, it doesn't look like it was mom talking right there. The policeman handed out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a stripped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you see him from the window. That's right, your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glazed over the hallway. The stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman peered through me one more time with his grey eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in policy school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a policy officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Oh, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? Sixth. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Oh, then I will leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I would go on myself? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Volva, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. I look out the window at the road. The policy UAZ drove off toward the village. Let's check this one out just to be sure. UAZ, a Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand which was produced on the Ulyanovsk, sorry, probably just said it wrong, car factory. I'm sorry again for the mispronunciation. Let's continue. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Black Kitty, a series of contemporary Russian, original or translated teen mystery books. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that lead to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? I don't know I would do that, Anton, but okay, no problem. Oh man. Maybe I will find that lost boy, and I will get a reward. Olia will be so happy. And not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they will even forget about their quarrels for a while. Sorry. Maybe I will even save us from the D word. I fantasize about buying Oila a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Song? Why song is underlined? Let's check. Also, this is the song, okay? Accountant, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Combination. Thank you. That was widely popular in the early 90s. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, mom and dad barely had money to afford sweets. And dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. So maybe dad is not such a bad person after all. But let's see. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police? You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I will stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Oh, okay. Gonna save here. Okay, good. Let's go. Let's check to see what is the eye first, because it doesn't look like an option, like something that will help me out. Click it. Oh, okay. So with the eye clicked, I can see some objects that I maybe could interact with. So, okay, let's start checking things out. Let's open it first. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I will cut myself on the flesh-sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, dead stools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Let's check this. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. A fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. I don't wanna go to the kitchen right now. Let's check the cross. This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black, as if it absorbed all human sin from long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself with the sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. That called a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Let's check the phone. It was the phone, right? Oh, okay, so when you pass the mouse uh, on something that you can interact that is not marked with the eye. In this case, there was a little noise in the background, like a little click. Yeah, some sort of click. And maybe to, if you don't want to look everything, you can have this just to be more immersive, I think. My parents prohibit me, oh my god, it's kind of difficult, from making long distance calls. But from time to time, I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice-laden cords. Okay, let's go outside. Anton, I will whip you. Oh my god. I will whip you if you make a single step out the door. Okay, so let's go to the kitchen. Turn back. Open. Turn back. There's some. Not okay. So when there are no extra options, I'm not seeing the eye here. I will consider that. Open. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Oilia there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni? I grew to hate them already. Let's check this. Pelmeni. A Russian oh my god, what is going on? A Russian variety of dumplings made by boiling thin unleavened dough filled with mincemeat. One may even call it Russian fast food. Okay, it's closed. Let's turn back. Let's check. We have the note here. The journal, the radio, and the calendar. So let's check the note. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, Mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers, from bubblegum with dinosaur that Oilia liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of rolled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held up by two pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place, where it would await for its time when I would finally find Volva and be the first to call the police with the happy news. That's right, positive thoughts. Anton, Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angry my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. So I can pick that up. Let's check this. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at the fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of the Flies. Second letter is E. Okay. Oh, my mouse went crazy for a second. Let's check the radio. Emercon of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snow drifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. The calendar. The decrypt and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without any help. One day closer to New Year's. One day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed the dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carried a log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the grey leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. Let's go. There's nothing more here to check. Let's go back again. Let's again interact with the door. I don't know if Mom will let me. I need to distract Mom somehow, or I'll get scolded and my whipped with Dad's leather belt. Okay. Let's click on Mom. Yes. It didn't show me, but and didn't make any kind of noise. So maybe there is when there is a moment to interact with things, there will be things that don't show me that I can click, but I can click. Maybe it's just for characters. We'll see. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. You are killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. Okay, so Mom is not here anymore. I tried to pick this up, right? Mom didn't let me. I think that was it. Or am I... Okay, I will try it nonetheless. Oh, I got it. I actually got it. Okay. So Mom was blocking me. Can I click here? No. Okay, so let's keep on going. And let's go outside. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed the half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw... Oh, there are actually animated birds here. It's a pretty good visual novel game. There's a lot of animations for a visual novel. Usually visual novels are just static imagery. They're static images. But this one is pretty animated. That's pretty cool. And the art, as I already said, it's amazing in my point of view. I'm really digging it and it's awesome. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant raging in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow along me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, and a one-way trip that ended at the forest pine stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. That's true, actually. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Out, apart- Out apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to believe the last time mom and dad joked around, laughing or spending time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed, when they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It, wa- it was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms and black ground in everything? And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. Hmm. It blinked. I, sh- I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked away. Again, the art is amazing. It's something I can't complain and talk enough about it because it actually looks pretty good. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotting leaves and coniferous needle froze into the ice. Hey, oh, oh, there. Look at that. Look at this. Okay. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. Let's check it. Streets of Broken Lights, a Russian mystery TV series telling a story of the daily life of Russian police officers. It's the longest running series in the history of Russian TV at the moment. Pretty good. Nice. Nice to know. Thank you. Okay. Where was I? He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. With this mitten help, will this mitten help them find the lost boy? What? There was a noise. There was someone saying Volva at the background. I'm not crazy. I assure you of that. I'm not crazy. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. I don't know if it's possible for you guys to hear it, but it's saying Volva in the back. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Volva resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. Volva! I don't see anyone. Oh my god, I'm getting the chills right here. Oh man. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Oh man, what? What? Whoa, 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 calm down. Calm down, game, please. That got me. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I saw something. Something moved. I looked away for just a moment. But when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painful, lonely time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I would sprint. But nothing of sort happened. I looked the mitten once more. Let's save. Let's save for good measure, and I will take it. I'm a detective after all. Let's solve this case. I will take it. Sorry, take it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Oh man, oh no. Oh no, please. Volva. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Oh man. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without knowing, thinking, and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Oh no. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red, the sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. The snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I will get caught. They will get me. I will get dragged into the thicket. I will be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a whiz. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy track just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was the snow ever this thick? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clenching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boot slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave away. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Whew, that was intense. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, wiping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of this pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. If there was someone. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. With it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too, okay? My legs gave away. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look, over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping, as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns of the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely remind me of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. The face changed. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they would rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they are rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Oilia? Mom? I wish our dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they are alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You are not a little kid anymore. Oh, this mom is very angry actually. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Welp, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Oh man. Mom, look, this is Volva's mitten. That boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept into my mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the image slipped away. Stop it this moment. Olia will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this? Oh, look. So it was imagination. At the moment I realized the mitten was actually wet from... Oh, okay, from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, who cried Wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. Pills, huh? Maybe... not gonna say anything, I don't know if this is the case. A golden colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home and you... That would give you a good whipping for that. Whipping, I think. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drink it down with similarly off water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't vulva mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olia's wall. Olia's owl. Am I going mad? Oh man, what is... Oh, literally. What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing waning indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. About? What about? I wonder. It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son or some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Iago's voice died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Okay, so... Oh, I can interact with the... Oh... Can you guys see this? Well, It must be Olia, right? It must be her. Because the boy said in the beginning that she always hide on his curtain, so it must be her. Let's see if he says something. The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. So he don't say anything about this. Okay. He probably didn't saw it. Let's check the characters up here. My Triceratops figure. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs, velociraptors, Afrovenators, hypsolophodonts. Oh my god, I can't pronounce those names. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures. When we lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it, it was a Robotech Transformers. Oh, Transformers is pretty nice. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up into the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentriad space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. What more? The book down here and the pictures on the wall. Okay. I've dreamed of becoming an artist since Dad brought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially like the big space related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about Gendarm. I really don't know what that is. Let's take a look at Fly. Fly, the first Soviet and Russian periodic adult comics magazine, extremely popular during the crazy 90s. What made the magazine stand out was the refusal to use material from its foreign counterparts. Interesting. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they will even publish my comic. What was again? The book, right? Yes, the book. Okay. Can I click here? No, there's the book. Monsters, Ghosts, UFOs, the Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Roseman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olia is always scared of them. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part, where they started to talk about ghosts, really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I would read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force come the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the Ghost? Man, I remember Casper the Ghost. When I was very young, I used to watch those VHS tapes with Casper the Ghost on it. I loved them at that time. And I don't remember. I know that is a cute little ghost, but I don't remember what he talked about or who he was. It's been such a long time. I remember the name, I remember the character, but I don't remember the story so well. But I used to like it a lot. I'm liking this game with this old that tells the story in the past. It's pretty cool. When I mean the past, that it's past in the 80s, 90s years, something from there, from this time. Okay, so the last thing is open. Let's open. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the policeman's phone number along with the mittender. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. Wait, I think I passed something. The simple action. Okay, sorry, I just thought I passed something. Okay, dialogue. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. It must be Oila, right? Come on, man. It must be her. But I don't know. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the window sill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor, just like a servant of sorts. Olia? Who else would be standing there? Yes, that's what I said. Who else? It must be her. I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Oila, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Badum, badum, beat my heart. Bet my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. The writing is on point on this game. Let's go on. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled upon curtains. Gotcha! Oh, so I wasn't wrong as well. Nice one, Anton. It was actually her. I know it was you from the beginning. A blinding bright halo lit up above Oila's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight powered on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. What she saw? Me out there, or she's saying here, inside? Oh, really? What did you hide? Oh, okay, so it was inside. She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commendation tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Oila ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it there. Are you a thief?" What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind. That mitten, hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees? Olia could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that won't tell anyone, then I will show you. Olia wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers. We've watched it. Pioneers, let's check. Pioneer movement, an umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. Okay. Say things like that. Olia nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. Certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? It must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house showing his photo to everybody. Olia traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses and not the forest? That's true. Why? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right. Flashed in my clouded mind. The clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of ice branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the meeting? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic. As if trying to get Olia as far away as possible from the forest ticket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Let's check. Field of Wonders, a Soviet and Russian TV game show, still running to this day, coming out every Friday, can be described as a partially adapted version of Wheel of Fortune. Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl wouldn't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexcited brain. Sorry. Stay away from the forest. I think it's, how should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Olia shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Oh, so yeah, she saw us. She saw Anton. Sorry, she saw Anton. Someone was chasing you. So, again, didn't she? If she saw us, and she's saying this, someone was chasing you. So maybe there wasn't anything after all behind me? But there were the dogs. Okay, let's keep on going. No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. I think she couldn't see it. Maybe with the frost on the window. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone. You are lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere. I will die from boredom here. You are wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me in your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I would wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children, so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah. And if you wouldn't make them as small as bugs, we could place them in a little box. Olia giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was watched over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of your tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them you haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know, let's play hide and seek. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it, draw it. Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken back. I would never scream at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo! You'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I will draw you a full triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with a sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I will go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you will rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you will be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand, look for it. Olya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, there's an eye, so I will save. It's being a lot of talk right now. Let's save. And let's check the eye. So, Piggy, the little bear, and the window? Yes, that's it. So, Piggy. A piggy bank. Olya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Okay, the bear. Oh, it's making a little noise. Pretty funny. Oh, this is from a certain movie, right? At least it looks like it. Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear it's the main attraction here. Olya doesn't sleep without it, and she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. And the window. The scary window where Olya sees that accursed owl every night lurking in the dark. Olya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Okay, this is the... yeah, okay. Turn on the TV. The pictures... Oh, I can see Anton here. He's here. Cool. This is pretty cool. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. A tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise came down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. Oh boy. What? What was that? What was this? It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did I catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olha had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state I didn't have the strength to do all of it. I will save. Don't know why I saved there before, but okay, let's save now again. And I will test the set. Let's go for it. Oh man, the noises. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. He was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was a pitch-black night at the cemetery. In the fateful dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous stick dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown around all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt, had to say. A closed-up shot at the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, such a fearsome beast it is, worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Oh God. And they stink, it's like the rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boy, and pierced me with its eyes, right in the middle of day. What was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes? Obscenities were covered by another beep. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it is natural. Put you into his bag, and you are done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the devil's wench. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monsters will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The Forest Master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. So maybe where I am? Maybe here near the forest? Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on the top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. Oh man, I think it's Peter Pan. But she said to look in the nightstand, right? So maybe it's not. I pressed rec, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the sleeping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All of the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery. They are all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it must likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see up, oh my God, and see a pair of eyes in your window. Oh man, it is the owl. What? Then soon, 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 soon. Oh man, it's coming. Soon. Soon. What? Again? Soon. Soon. Oh man. The TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my ears. I'm with you, Anton. That got me good. Oh man. Oh man. For a second there, I actually thought the game has actually frozen up for a bit. It's got stuck or something like that. But man, okay, that was. Oh man, oh man. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and I was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape. For a moment I thought it was stained with saliva. But that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oh, it must be it. Oops, I recorded over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Oila's cartoon, but I also put the script stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glaze at the door. I could hear the clatters of the glass and the squeaky floorboards. Oila appeared in the doorway. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. No. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do. Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. Also, so they just have TV here on this room. Come on, think fake detective. I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch Little Mermaid instead. I've already seen it so many times. And you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know, let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first, deal? Aurelia frowned but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest. If you want it so much, can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself in the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped up before my eye, and my sore legs were pierced by 1,000 of needles. Only when I reached the sofa I realized that the can was... Yes, it's true, it's already open. Oila had tricked me. Huh? Oh, she's gonna play it. Oh man. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone, "Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan." I couldn't even open my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She will play it, and then black crosses on unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps on the snow, and the insane devil's wench. I'd better tell the truth. Oila, stop. I erased the end of her tape by accident. I would trade it for two of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase, and me and Dad had broken off all those plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, waiting the out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head, heavy as a laden ball, now rested in my hands. Oila smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk on her bread. And when the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to the Neverland like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts drawn on, stumbled upon horned beast that awaited me among the trees. A narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines. Like a winged carnivore would track its prey, it felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains fast. Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Close. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a vision effect from shadows and branches scraping the snow. Mom thinks I made it all up. And that too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Oila's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They are already dealing with a lot, so they will get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up. Just like Mom and Dad say. It will get tired of waiting and fly away. It was madness, but after everything that happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Oila's owl existed. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Oila's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. Oh no. Another moon, picked from under the first one. Scary and wanging over the taiga forest. The horrific reports got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Oila. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Oila's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmate would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't know how I fell into slumber. True detective. Okay. Thank you for completing episode 1 of Tiny Bunny. Did you enjoy it? Do you want to know what happens next? We're already working hard on the continuation of this story. Okay. So, some thoughts about this prologue. I did enjoy it a lot. It was pretty good. It was intense. The music was nice. The art is amazing. Can't say anything about the art. It's amazing. It's awesome. I really like the atmosphere, the black and white painting that when you are at the moment at the forest, you couldn't discern if it was actually blood or something else. So the fact that it says it's red, you can't see the colors. It gets you right in the imagination, in your own thoughts, because you don't know what it is. You don't know the color. You don't know if it's water, if it's not, if it's red or if it's not red, and it's pretty cool. This episode 1 or this prologue, I like it a lot, and I'm happy that I did a video about it, that I recorded. I'm looking forward to the other continue. I heard somewhere or read somewhere that it's like 5 episodes or something. I looked on Steam and there is episode 2, but it says early access. So I don't know if I'll be picking up right now soon, so I can record it and put it on the channel as well, or I'll be waiting a little bit to see if they end chapter 2, because I didn't get it if they ended chapter 2 and this early access, it's like all of the chapters in one game and you choose what you want to play. I don't know if it's that or if that single choice of Tiny Bunny on Steam is just episode 2. I don't know. But eventually I'll be taking a look at chapter 2. Thank you for watching. Hope that you enjoyed and you got thrilled as I did, because it was pretty good. I really like it. And I want to play the other episode and see what will happen with Anton and his family. What will be like school, right? He says that he's going to school tomorrow, so probably you'll be on episode 2 as well. So as of again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you liked, give it a like. If you dislike the video, leave your thoughts on the comment below as well. Thank you once more, and I hope to see you again under the next moon. See ya.